So this is the story how a tennis ball, Johnny Cakes, and a fall off a big exercise ball changed my life. My father had a very successful practice in Brooklyn, New York, doing chiropractic treatments until a near tragedy struck. Something very amazing happened to my father. My father bent down to pick up a tennis ball one day and his back went out. The ironic thing was he was making his living helping people treat their back pain, and he was debilitated by it. So he went to every known profession, including his own, to try and get some relief from his severe back pain. And he was bedridden.
I ended up in bed for 9 months. Now, I had chiropractors working on me. I had physicians who were friends of mine looking at me. I had acupuncturists looking at me. I went through the gamut of everybody. What they wanted to do is they wanted to do exploratory surgery.
So he wound up seeing this doctor actually named Dr. George Goodhart, and he examined my father very differently. He really believed in the pursuit of why. He wanted to figure out, why is my dad having the back spasms? Why is my father in so much pain? Rather than everyone else was trying to get rid of the back spasms or reduce his pain. So the doctor came up with a very unique premise that my dad's diet, which was filled with sugar at the time, and the doctor surmised that when your digestive system gets upset, it can affect your muscular system. So he changed his diet. The doctor made a couple corrections, and within 2 weeks, my dad was 100% cured. He went from being completely bedridden, unable to walk, unable to work, unable to provide for our family, to being 100% cured.
So it came from where my factor was a bad back, being in bed for 9 months, but the problem really wasn't my back, but was due to a toxicity in my body that created the problem.
So he went back to work with a complete new perspective and dedicated his life to this teaching of Dr. Goodhart.
My husband had a couple patients in Aruba, and we would go on vacation to Aruba all the time, and he helped some young child there, and that spurred my son onto it. He looked up so much to my husband, and he saw the good that my husband did, and that's what he wanted to do.
My father treats this boy and finds out that the boy's headaches were actually coming from his jaw. He had fallen when he was a kid, threw off his jaw, which was throwing off his cranial bones in his head. My father released his jaw, and lo and behold, the boy's headaches go away. Everyone was so thrilled. So the next day we're at the beach relaxing, and the entire family comes by to give my father money. And my father says, you know, I'm not taking your money, it's my pleasure. So the next day, they come back to the beach and they give us an offer that he couldn't refuse. And that was Johnny Cakes. So these are like a sweet pancake, so to speak. And that was the moment when I knew this was my life's passion, this was my life's goal. Because the approach, the philosophy, and the knowledge that my father had became too important for me not to share it with the world. I said, sign me up. In 1995, I graduated chiropractic school. I joined him in practice in New York City, and he armed me with a very unique perspective. So through my father's personal experience, he knew that back pain comes from a structural problem, but it could also be dietary or digestive in nature. And then the third actual aspect is emotions and stress. Stanford University proved that emotion stress is the #1 factor. So my father, with this unique perspective and philosophy, treated patients very, very differently. So he became very sought after because of his unique philosophy and treatment.
I can't believe how Todd and I, right at this moment, have been asked to do so many different things with so many different groups because they all want to implement natural healing.
So it was so motivating and wonderful to see all the people being so thankful for what he could do, right? It was really, again, about the pursuit of why. He urged me to be inquisitive, look with my own eyes, listen with my own ears, don't follow the consensus. If you follow the trends in health, that's not a good way to go because the vast majority of people are very unhealthy. Every case, we're looking at the balance of patients' structural system. We're looking at their balance of their emotional system. We're looking at their dietary and digestive function. Again, my life's mission was to follow my father's footsteps and to share this information with as many people as possible. So I just started writing. I just couldn't stop writing. We had a book published by Penguin Publishers called The Truth About Back Pain, and then I went on to write other books on health, diet, exercise, back pain, and that was my story. So I continue to grow, my practice has evolved, and things have been great. And then in 2002, I'm actually working with a fitness model, and she is the pinnacle look of health, of exercise, of strength, and she's suffering terribly. She's having neck pain, mid-back pain, lower back pain, can barely work, can barely function. And I'm speaking with her and I'm trying to figure out, well, why she's suffering so much. And it winds up being that her job is to do all the sit-ups and the crunches and all the ab work on these exercise shows. So she continually is putting her posture in this forward manner. So I decided to have her lay over one of those big exercise balls that I had in my therapy room. I had her lay over these big exercise balls, stretched her out, opened up, and elongated her spine, and immediately her pain dramatically improved. She couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it, and I went off to the room to show my father what had happened. So I put him on the big exercise ball, and he turned around to fall off the ball. So off to the drawing board I went to create something that could provide that extension, but it was also important to be progressive extension. You can't just do one stretch the entire time, and one size wasn't going to fit everybody. So if someone had severe lower back problems, they're not going to be able to bridge over a big exercise ball. So I created something called a back bridge, and it's this arch cut, and then you lay over it. It comes with 5 different levels, and as you're able to improve, you continually realign your posture, straighten your body out, and lo and behold, it really helped many, many people. So I started using it in the office for patients, and patients loved it. And they were asking then, can they get one for home? So I was giving them for one for home, and then they were ordering for their friends and their family. And pretty soon it was going worldwide. Artists were taking it on tour with them. It just really spread. Opened up this great center called True Whole Care, where a patient comes in and we cover their true whole care. Again, you have to look at all the aspects of health, otherwise all you're doing is giving someone incomplete care. Doctor in the Latin means to teach. What I want to do is I want to teach people to take care of their own health and take care of their back. So my father always encouraged me to share this information and share this knowledge. When I think back on my life and my life's mission of helping people, I can't help but have a whole sense of just amazement that a simple thing from my dad bending down to pick up a tennis ball, a simple sign of gratitude from people in Aruba baking Johnny cakes, and my father falling off the exercise ball could have such a profound impact on not just his life, not just on my life, not just on my family's life, but thousands of other people's lives.